This Valentine's Day, I want to analyze you like I analyze my books. Hi guys, my name is TJ and welcome back to TJ Smiles. Today I have my January wrap-up for you guys, and it's been a long time since I've done a wrap-up just because with school and life and being in a reading slump, I haven't read a significant amount of books in a month. But for January, I did. I started this year off great, and I have 4 books to talk to you. Well, 3 books, 1 graphic novel. Let's get started. The first book I finished this month was Psi Like You by Casey West. This book is a contemporary novel that was really fun and easy to get through. The ending was very predictable, I will give you that. But overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it and I read through it fast. I did a whole book review on this, so I will go, once that's uploaded, I will link that in the down bar of this video. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this book just because I did a whole book review. So if you want to know more about this book, check out the book review. The next book I finished this month was Georgia Peaches and the Forbidden Fruit by Jane Robin Brown. This book was fantabulous. Oh my gosh, I read through it super fast. I started reading it on my way to New York City on the bus, and I got halfway through with it, and then because of the hype in New York City and like all the craziness, it got put in the back burner in my mind. And then about probably a week later, once I was home and settled in again, I picked it back up and I finished the second half of this in a day. It was phenomenal. Oh my God. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this book because I intend on doing a full book review on this one as well because I loved it so much, but I gave this a 4 out of 5, probably 4.5 out of 5 stars because I loved it so much. This book follows the story of a girl named Joanna who is a lesbian, but she has to put that on the back burner when her father, who's a preacher, moves to this very conservative Christian Baptist town, and basically it would not sit over well with her new stepfamily and like the townspeople if she's like an open lesbian. So she agrees for her dad for her senior year of high school to just not come out to her new friends at school and just like stay on the back burner and just be a normal girl that everyone wants her to be in this town. And that is until she ends up developing a crush for someone who she believes to be straight. And wow. This book is very diverse. It falls into the diversity range. Very relatable. Oh my gosh, one of the most relatable books I've ever read. Loved it so much. It does a good like story on how like your faith in Christianity can be tied into like being lesbian or gay. Like just because you're lesbian or gay doesn't mean you can't have a relationship with Christ. And this book does a great job of explaining that. It's just overall a phenomenal, very well written, very done. I can't even describe it. I'm doing a full book review on it because I enjoyed this book so much. Very well written. I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars for this one. This year, it's my goal to read more nonfiction because I hardly ever read nonfiction. So my first nonfiction book I picked up of the year was Fast Food Nation by Eric Scarsler. I picked this book up from my teacher because he's always talking about this book, always going back to this book in class. It's in his classroom library, and he knew it would be a book that would interest me because I'm a vegetarian and I'm really like health conscious and all that. So he's like, I think you would enjoy this book. So he lent it to me to borrow, and I did. I enjoyed it a lot. It probably took me about 2 months to read. I started it like mid-December, I think, and I read it all the way through mid-January, so maybe a little over a month, I'd say. I'll give this a 3 out of 5 stars just because it wasn't a book that I was able to sit down and plow through like this one, for example, but it was a very well done book. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much from it, and I really want to read another book along this lines. Hi, Howie. You coming to say hi to the camera? Hi. I'm trying to film. Very well done book. I would suggest it to you. It kind of follows the story of like America and how our nation kind of strives because of all the fast food industries and what our economy is like and how the fast food industries affect our economy and our society as a whole and like our health and all kinds of stuff. The dog is eating my comic book, so I'm going to move on to that. The last book I read this month, well, it wasn't a book, it was a graphic novel. I read Volume 5 of The Walking Dead, The Best Defense. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, in this volume of the comic book, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, we arrive at Woodbury. And if you followed the television show or you've read the comic books before, you know this is where crap gets real. Oh my gosh, I'm reading this book and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so different from on the television show. The television show really strayed away and combined a lot of different plots from a lot of different volumes into one, and they didn't do it in order. Either way, I'm not complaining. I absolutely love this. My jaw was dropped. I read this in a night. Couldn't put it down once I started, especially once they arrived at Woodbury. Oh my gosh, 5 out of 5 stars for this volume. Let me tell you, phenomenal. Can't even complain that the television show adaptation played this out differently because I love that as well. Overall, I want to go back and watch the season where they're at Woodbury now because of this, and I have to order my next volumes because this is the last volume I have. I have to order volume 6 and up. Hi, Howie. Absolutely loved this volume. Oh my gosh, it was great. Okay, now that you know what I read in January, let me tell you what I plan on reading in February. February, Valentine's Day. Because of Valentine's Day, I wanted to incorporate a couple contemporaries in because why not? So for my contemporaries, I chose Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Heard phenomenal things about this book from the booktube community. I've had it on my shelf for probably about a year now. Haven't gotten the chance to pick it up, so it's on the top of my list for this month. I'm really excited. The other contemporary I picked up was The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks, one of my favorite Miley Cyrus movies, one of my favorite Nicholas Sparks movies. Never read the book. I picked it up from the library, I bought it used, and it's just been sitting on my shelf since. So I figured contemporary Valentine's Day love story, why not read it? So I'm excited for this one as well. The next book I want to read this month is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alex D. I don't know. I'm going to read this book. It's kind of told in the format of a journal. There's a lot of little doodles throughout it. I feel like I've started reading it slightly, and it is a little middle grade, but the story's fun. It keeps you reading. In like the first day of having it, I read 55 pages into it. So it's something, I feel like it's going to be a fast, fun, easy read, and I feel like it's going to give me insight that I didn't know much about on a culture that is so different from like the average American culture. So I'm really excited to read some of this. And for my last book of the month that I plan on reading is my non-fiction book of the month that I'm going to want to read. Let me change my position. I was sitting on my feet and that really hurt. Okay, so I'm going to be reading Happiness is a Choice, Enhance Joy and Meaning in Your Life by Frank Minarth and Paul Marner. I picked this up from a used shop in my area, used bookstore. Didn't know it was even around, and me and my friend, we were just kind of out like roaming the town one evening after school, came across this shop, and I got a couple books there. This is one of them. I'm like, hey, a hippie book, I should get it. So I got it, started reading it, enjoying it so far, not too into it. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it this month, and it won't be like Fast Food Nation and take me 2 months to read, but who knows. Like I said, nonfiction isn't my favorite genre, but I want to read more of it this year, so this is nonfiction book number 2 of the year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. I love you lots. Bye, guys.